In this problem, I'm given that the 7th and 8th graders took a trip to Niagara Falls. I know that the 7th graders rented and filled 8 vans and 8 buses with 240 students. I also know that the 8th graders rented and filled 4 vans and 1 bus with 54 students. I know that every van holds the same number of students. Likewise, every bus holds the same number of students. I'm asked to find the number of students in each van and bus. To set up a system of linear equations, I must first define my variables. I'm going to let V be equal to the number of students that will fit into a van. And I'm going to let B be equal to the number of students that will fit into a bus. Now I'm ready to set up my system of linear equations. I'm going to first set up an equation for my 7th grade team. I know that they took 8 vans and 8 buses and a total of 240 students. So to find the number of students that rode in vans, I'm going to take 8 times the number of students that fit in each van, or 8V, representing the total number of students in the 7th grade class that rode in vans. Likewise, to find the number of 7th graders in the 8 buses, I would take 8 times the number of students that fit in one bus. This sum would have to equal our 240 students. Likewise, to find an equation for our 8th graders, we know our 8th graders rented and filled 4 vans and 1 bus. Therefore, the number of students that were in the 4 vans could be represented by 4 times V, or 4 times the number of students in each van. To find the number of 8th grade students that rode on the bus, it would be given by 1 times B, or just B. Therefore, I know that 4V plus B is equal to a total of 54 students. In order to solve the system of linear equations, I might choose to use the substitution method. In the substitution method, I'm going to solve one of my equations for one variable. I will notice in my second equation, I can readily solve for B. That is, if I subtract 4V from both sides of my equation, I am going to get B is equal to 54 minus 4V. Now I can substitute my expression for B into my first equation. This would give me 8V plus 8 times B, and B is 54 minus 4V, and that should equal 240. I'm now going to simplify my left-hand side. Using the distributive property, my left-hand side will simplify into 8V plus 8 times 54, which is 432. And then I have 8 times a negative 4V, which is a negative 32V, is equal to 240. Combining like terms, I have 8V minus 32V, giving me a negative 24V, plus 432 is equal to 240. To solve for V, I'm going to subtract both sides by 432, giving me a negative 24V is equal to a negative 192. Finally, dividing both sides by a negative 24, I find that V is equal to 8, or 8 students will fill each van. Since I know 8 students fill each van, I can find the number of students that are on a bus by taking B is equal to 54 minus 4 times V, or minus 4 times 8. So 54 minus 32 is equal to 22 students that will fit on a bus. Therefore, I know that the number of students on each van is 8, and the number of students on each bus is 22. Now let's check our answer. I'm going to verify it with our first equation. 8 vans and 8 buses give me 240 students. Since I know that each van holds 8 students, I know that 8 times 8 would give me the number of 7th graders that rode in vans. I also know 22 students fill each bus, so the number of 7th graders that rode buses would be 8 times 22. I want to verify that this is indeed 240. I know 8 times 8 is equal to 64. And I'm going to add that to 8 times 22, which is 176. 176 plus 64 is indeed 240 students. Verifying that 8 students were in the vans and 22 students were in the buses.